your host, me, Destiny Keller, and my wonderful guest. This is my friend Mark. He is an actor, he is a writer, producer, videographer, photographer, whatever. The list goes on and on. It's just a jack of all trades. But this is my beautiful friend, and I've been very fortunate to know him. And thank you so much for joining me today to talk about mommy issues. But just a shout out, this is like a, I like to shout out all the mothers out there too, just because I know that they do have a difficult job, and I know, it's probably really hard to be a mom. I don't know, I wouldn't know, but this is just created to be like a safe space for people to share openly and honestly about their experience, and to, I guess, offer other people perspectives into, I guess, their relationships with their mothers, because, all of us have a mom, we all have a special, unique relationship, whether it's good, bad, or neutral. So thank you so much. And we're gonna start off by doing a tarot reading. So we're just gonna do a general, like, what do we need to know today kind of thing, and see what the cards have to say. Anything you would like to add?
With the cards?
Oh no, just in general. I don't know, for your intro.
You did everything.
Okay, cool. So yeah, just hold in your head, what do you want to know today? Cool. And then I will let you pick.
Okay.
Just kind of pick whichever card is calling to you.
This one?
This one?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So, 6 of Cups, Happy Hearts, Childhood Memories. So this is a good card. Look at it. So maybe it could be somebody that's coming into your life, maybe as like a mentor figure, or somebody that's gonna bring you, I guess, like something good that will be coming into your life, or you'll be meeting somebody that's like of an older status, or maybe you'll reconnect with like a family member, is how I'm sort of reading this. Or it could be within your own home, right? Like not necessarily like your family home, but where you're living now, is maybe you will create memories with the person there. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I know, I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the first question I would like to ask you is, what is your general definition of motherhood? And then what would you describe being a good mother is? And are they different to you?
Wow. Okay. The definition of motherhood, my own.
Yeah, just it doesn't have to be super analytical. Just whatever you think being a mother is, a motherhood.
I think being a motherhood is a very big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think it's where they're ready to put their kids as number one.
Yeah, that's true. I think moms really have to sacrifice, because then it's like you can't just like be as selfish, I guess, because it's like you have this whole other being. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it gives a lot of good examples for kids. So if they don't, if they put themselves first and the kid, it's gonna.
What is that, Lord? It's my phone. Oh, you have to move it?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I don't have to move it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So can you continue? We'll just have to edit this, right?
Yes,
I'll just
okay.
edit it out.
Okay. It could be like a pause right there. As I was saying,
I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull out. Okay.
what was this?
I don't remember. Oh, you have to put the kid first.
Oh yeah. So putting the kids first is very important, because if they put themselves first, then in a way it kind of they would impact the kid, where sometimes they feel either like they left out, or like they there's no sense of how to say this. It's like there's something that's missing.
Like the child will feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. What do you think being a good mother is?
Very good at listening to their kids, because I think a lot of times, sometimes I mean, we're all human.
Yeah.
Like, it's understandable. Like sometimes, like it's like work or something's like stressing out, and it's hard to listen to a kid when they're like super loud or they go nuts, and you tell them to shut up or like tell them to like stop. But it's hard to listen to what is the key word, the key of what causes them to be like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it takes like a lot more patience because I feel like initially you just want to be like stop crying or whatever, but it's like it takes like I think a really patient human to be like sit with them and like what is making you sad? Like why are you feeling this way? But that's like especially like you said, if you're overwhelmed with like work or doing these other things, you don't necessarily I guess like have time to really sit and deal with like what the root of the problem is. So I think that's why a lot of parents are like more quick tempered in a way, or they're more like just be quiet because like I need to focus on this right now. Yeah. But that's a good point. Okay. What was your relationship with your mother growing up, as detailed or not detailed you want to bring into it? And then like what is it like now? Because I feel like it evolves and it gets different. And I think as usually as you mature, you're able to understand your parents a little bit better. At least that's like for me. I guess not necessarily for everybody. But yeah, so what was it like growing up, and then what's it like now?
So what's it like being growing up was, cause like actually I mentioned that it was not too pleasant.
Oh, okay.
It was not something that I like to remember, but it did taught me as I grow up what I don't want when I have a kid in the future. And it taught me how to be more of a better person of me today, in a way. Because so they basically teach me in a way of like an example that I don't want to be.
Okay. Yeah.
And learning how to deal with problems and things that happens in the past, and letting those past be the past and not be the present of this moment, and using that moment on other people of expecting of this person to do this for me, or expecting this person to act a certain way because what I feel of the past, the trigger. So for them, it's something in the past that make them the way they are. But that's the thing, that it doesn't make them to have the excuse to treat people a certain way. I feel like that was a thing with a lot of the people that I, not a lot, but like the couple of people that I did talk to about was a little bit of how our parents, or I don't know, like your parents might have been a different generation or older and stuff, you know? So that's a thing too, but how like they kind of took out a lot of their unresolved issues and things on their children, like because they didn't necessarily have the time, the resources, the words to figure out their own feelings or their own traumas or whatever. So instead they kind of passed it on to us. So I noticed with a lot of like the people or my friends that I interviewed, they were like, okay, like, and same with me as well. It's like now we have to not only unlearn those negative, toxic things we learned as a child, but we have to like also integrate being like a human being now, being an adult, and not carrying those toxic things into our other relationships. Because I definitely relate to that for sure. Actually, now you mentioned that, it's very like I can relate to that part where, because like hearing from my parents, their childhood, like they basically don't have a voice. They just basically get beaten down.
Oh, your parents, dang. So like their parents were even more like, was it like physically and verbal abusive? Well, dang,
So,
okay.
And so that's understandable transition from, but the thing is like, I'm grateful that I was born here, so it's different from Taiwan. It's more traditional there. So if my parents, if I was still in Taiwan, then I don't think, but yet again, Taiwan did change a lot now. It's more.
It's probably still more strict though, right? I feel like even Asian American parents, I feel like there is still like it's not as obviously strict, but I feel like compared to like a lot of I guess like the American kids in a certain sense, like there's a different like I I don't know, standard or something
Yeah.
like where like it's just like an unspoken thing where you have to be like you know like the Asian B is like an F and things like that. Like it's almost like you have to be perfect and or like. Or I don't know if this is with you, but I know with other people, if, especially if their parents like immigrated here or whatever, they're like, you don't know how much I sacrificed for you to be here, and then you're just wasting it away kind of thing, you know? Or they're like, you need to be so grateful, you have to go through all of this.
And it pressures you.
Yes.
Especially if you're an artist.
Yeah.
And it's harder because as an artist, because of all the pressure that you get from your parents and family, because it's so tradition, perfectionist, you become like you have to be perfect in your work. But in art, it's like it's expression of you, what you feel and who you are, and letting yourself like vulnerable. You know? But then because of all these Asian rules and tradition, it causes to restrict of your art.
That's true, yeah. Did your family so were they not supportive of you wanting to be an actor or anything? No? What did they want you to do?
They want to be like me, do job, typical accounting, business, job, the Asian job, or doctors.
I was gonna say that, but I was like, maybe he'll just say it. I was like, they didn't want you to be a doctor, did they? Yeah, I kind of figured though. So was there okay, so growing up you said it wasn't I guess necessarily the best. Was there how is it now? Is it different? Is it better?
It's definitely a lot better. I'm out of there.
Okay.
But the only thing is because when you're born in a family like that and you've gone through it for 22 years, it programmed in your mind. Yeah. And you have to basically reprogram your whole brain. Yeah. And that's just. It's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the middle of that too. The same thing. I go to a lot of therapy, go to all of that, but I feel like even things that affect me now, it really doesn't, it's not now, it's something from when I was a kid. Everything that's happening now, when, like you said, it's a trigger thing, and then when I do this therapy work, I realize it all stems from childhood because it's just so much programming of who you are as a being that subconsciously you're carrying so much of that it's everything goes back to when you were a kid. I feel that's why it's so important to talk about those things and stuff and how you raise your kids because I'm they literally carry that shit with them for the rest of their lives, you know?
Lifetime.
Yeah.
It sucks because sometimes it's either a sense of smell or a touch of something and it triggers you going back in time. Yeah. Or someone says something that what your parents would say or someone that hurted you in the past. Yeah. And sometimes it just trigger your feeling when you haven't healed from it. And I learned that healing takes forever. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a lifelong journey, no? It's what do they say? I know it's so corny or whatever, but healing isn't linear, you know? Because it's not it's anything. You just not wake up one day and you're oh, I'm 100% healed. I don't know, I feel I don't know if you ever 100% heal from certain things. I feel you just learn different ways to cope with it and manage it depending the degree of what it was, you know? Yeah. But I feel for the most part, you can heal and you can live a productive life and stuff, but it is okay if there's certain things that bring you back to being not good or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. So do you talk to your mom now or I mean, sometimes it's still hard.
Okay.
We do talk, not really, but sometimes let's say if I get in a car crash, I don't really want to call my mom.
What? No, stop. That's so bad. So even in dang, so your relationship is to that much strength, where you're oh, I can't call my mom in these situations.
Because they're gonna say, oh, it's your fault, even though
even if somebody hit you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it's always there's something that there's something wrong with me that there's some causes of the problem. Yeah. So it's a lot of
projecting shame onto you, which is not good. Yeah. Oh, so that's so that makes sense. You guys don't talk too much, I would say. Yeah. Because it's also sometimes you need to set boundaries within your own family. That's my mom, but I'm not gonna allow a friend to even tell me that if I'm in an accident. So what's the difference with my mom? You know what I mean?
And it's interesting because the experience I have with my mom or my parents, the expression and the words they say, but then I have some friends who are saying oh, are you okay? Are you that's first thing that they say, you know, and that's when I'm knowing what is relationship.
That's true, yeah. Because like, especially if that's what you grow up with, that's like molded for you, like, then you're like, this is what a healthy relationship is, but then when it's like you get to pick and choose your friends, you're like, oh no, there's like a good balance. There's like, yeah, they call me out on my shit, but like overall they're supportive and stuff like that, instead of like being like, oh, it was your fault, you got in an accident or whatever.
And it's interesting, when you mentioned growing up, I just thought of, like, even when I encounter friends who says, oh my god, are you okay? The first thing they said that, and I was in shock. I was like, wait, what? I never heard of this before.
Really? Wait, so growing up, did you not have many friends? Like, were you pretty isolated with your family, would you say? Or?
So my mom is very, she isolated me a lot. So she always said, that person's a bad person, that person's not good. And so, and it's hard, so let's say if I have a friend that I felt connect with, but then she will make it as that there's something wrong with this person to make me like feel like poison in my mind that this person is bad. And so that's how when I grew up I started to always shelter myself. So because
it's like isolating.
Isolating, and I don't feel like I trust a lot of people
because of that.
And like for example, like one of the a girl I like, and I was talking to her on the phone. My mom got so pissed talking, and she'd go on the other line, and she's just like banging.
Oh my god.
And then she was like, it's like in Mandarin, like, 讲一个挂断, or you know.
What is that?
It's like I tell you to hang up and
Was she like super strict with you dating too? Like she didn't want you to date nobody?
No.
That's good. That's like so overprotective. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I could understand, like, the more I like try to, because a lot of time I try to understand people.
Yeah.
And so, because there's one time I tried to open up with her, because I was going through therapists, and I was telling her how I feel about the past, but she would not admit to apologize, or but it just she but I told her that I understand where you're coming from, but it's not right to do that to me, or verbally abusive. And so but I understand because she lost her father, and her father committed suicide, so it was in front of her.
Oh my god.
So I feel like through going through so much therapy, me like letting go a lot of things, understand where she's come from, that probably that she hasn't let go a lot of things. And
she didn't go to any therapy either, huh? So it's like she has no, I guess, outlet or whatever. And like I said, one, it's like a different culture, it's a different time. So like there's those two boundaries too as well, where I don't know, is it as big to even go to therapy?
So
it's
for
probably not a thing.
So Asian people don't really
believe in therapy.
You just suck it up and just keep going.
Right, which is not good because it just gets built up somewhere, and it's like, and there's all these other things she's like trying to deal with her own traumas and stuff. But I mean, like, that's good of you at least, like, I don't know, to like understand more where she's coming from. Do you think you'd be able to forgive her even if she didn't say sorry, like just for yourself? You know what I mean?
I've been trying to forgive. I mean, I'm trying to learn how to forgive a lot of things that happened to me in the past. But it's really difficult because there's so much things that I'm working on. And especially like triggers and trauma and things that, especially when you want to go somewhere. And me as a producer want to make a feature film, it's so hard because there's all these things in my mind that I had to battle with. But it's crazy because the older I get, the more I fight and keep going, doing what I want to do. I learned that the hardest battle in life is yourself.
That's true. I agree with that. Even I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people say like the one person that holds you back the most is yourself. And especially, I think, because I relate to the verbal abuse and things, like, I mean, there was other types too, but like that specifically, I feel like has held me back so much too, because it's like when you grow up so much hearing certain things or whatever, or if like it's really instilled in you that you like shouldn't show emotion or that you're not good enough or whatever, certain things, you really carry those beliefs. So it's like even as an adult when you're like trying to pursue certain things, it's like you said, like your own head that's like telling you like bottom line, like you can't do it or you're not gonna be good enough or you're not gonna succeed or whatever, and it's like yeah, like so it's already like a difficult journey as it is, but then on top of that, like having your head being like an extra thing, it's like really overcoming that. But like you said, it is yourself, so it's like once you like go down and things, like I feel like you're able to really like just be in your power and be like, no, like I can achieve these things, like I am worthy of these things, stuff like that. But it is like a daily, it's like a daily maintenance thing.
It's like a daily exercise.
Yeah, literally, and it's like you always have to combat it too, because sometimes the thoughts will creep in and you'll be like, wait, no, like that's not true, or where did I learn that from? And it's like constant, yeah. So I relate to that a lot. What was I gonna say? So I think that was it for my question. I don't know if there was any last things that you wanted to share.
Yes. Oh, and I feel like time is just so fast.
Yeah. Nothing about moms, y'all. Just time really fast.
Yeah.
Time is an illusion. It's a construct. We're in a lake. It's all together. The past, present, and future is all at once. But no, I know what you mean. Like it feels like it goes by fast. Yeah.
Wait, but did you have another question after the? I feel like the one question got a lot of answer.
No, that was good. Yeah, that was like perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Mark, for being vulnerable and sharing your experience. I hope that this was somewhat therapeutic for you, and for other people watching, they can see and relate to it. I really appreciate it. Make sure to follow him on social media. I will link the handles, and like and subscribe. So thank you so much. That was Mommy Issues. Yay.
See you.